You can probably imagine your teacher giving you tips like a drill sergeant right before the IGCSE exam. Yes, you've got to write that. Yes, you've got to practice. Yes, you've got to read more. And by the time you've heard it for the 500th time, you are ready, says your instructor. You do the exam. But what you don't realize is that your instructor is doing the exam with you. That's exactly what happened to some of my students during the last IGCSE exams. It wasn't exactly like a sudden thing, by the way. I had been thinking about doing it ever since March of 2023. It eventually translated into me actually taking the exam in May, before eventually, lo and behold, I got an A star. So that cost me about $300 US, and you might wonder to yourself, why on earth would you even do that? You're a teacher, you have no need to do that whatsoever. Near the beginning of the year, I was beset upon by this feeling, honestly speaking, that I just had to do the exam for myself. I wanted to actually see what it would mean if I were to write summaries in the way that I was teaching them, write directed writing in the way that I was teaching it. Something within me just pushed me to want to actually test myself. I wanted to know if my own methods actually work, and that's why I decided to do things in that way. I guess that maybe it's just a part of my personality, maybe, that I just want to, at the end of the day, check things for myself. That's why I took more than 5 months to get to this point. That's why I was willing to commit myself towards achieving an outcome that would show that my knowledge was sound and solid. As I was thinking of doing this, one speech just constantly rang through my mind, and that is Theodore Roosevelt's Man in the Arena speech. Here, I'll read it for you. It is not the critic who counts, nor the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. You can interpret Roosevelt in many different ways, but my preferred interpretation is that if you are someone who plans to teach or to offer your services in order to teach people, then you should be able to just go right in and fight in the arena, like literally compete. So yep, rushed over back from a Singapore vacation, during which I was at a tech convention, hung out with my friends from Mensa Singapore and some others. Drove back with a Grab driver with no hands. Eventually then ended up taking the exam alongside a bunch of confused high school students who were probably thinking to themselves, why is this person here? I ended up getting an A star, and I'm sure that you can as well, although of course, you know, I'm a teacher, so it's kind of what you'd expect, right? Right? At least, that's what I believe. Because if you're a teacher, then you're supposed to be an authority. You're a figure corresponding to knowledge. You are the person who is meant to guide the person towards the outcome that they wish to achieve. I guess the broader question that I do want to kind of raise through this video is, do we care at all whether a teacher can do what they are supposed to be teaching? Or do we simply think of teaching just as a profession whereby somebody has a responsibility, a job, they get paid, and they just have to deliver material? I cannot abide a situation where people just accept the received wisdom or just feel as if they can do something simply because they were given teacher training or they have a TEFL certificate. It's like, heck, yes, I do have that. I do have a TEFL certificate. I do have like any other form of training that you could possibly ask for right here. But one other thing that I do have is experience of actually taking the exam. That is what differentiates me from other people. And that is what exactly I wanted to accomplish as a result of the May-June IGCSE examinations. I think that in our society, we do not put teachers to the test enough. And I somehow feel that if some of these so-called teachers were to take the exams that they're supposed to be teaching, they would barely even get B's. Maybe, to some degree, the problem is a lack of talent. I think that that is one of the reasons why it is that schools can sometimes hire people who aren't really that qualified because they just need someone to fill that seat right there.
So yes, let's be real.
Sometimes you just can't rely upon your school. You can't rely upon the people who are assigned to teach you what you're supposed to learn. So it's a difficult conundrum, but on an even broader point than what I've raised, a person needs to be responsible for their education every single step of the way. Be clear about what you do know and what you don't. And sometimes you just need to put that to the test, and to also be independent about seeking out information, knowledge, resources to make sure that you can actually achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Anyway, on my front, I achieved my IGCSE goal, got my A-star, and got to show pretty much all my students right here that their teacher is actually capable of doing stuff like this right here. So I was pretty happy. It's my hope out there that all of you will do extremely well for your exams as you eventually come into exam season and begin to just grind hard right there. So study hard, play hard, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I'll look forward to seeing your incredible results in the days to come. Alright, peace.